Ay, yo ya dime la verdad que Nicolás se va a casar. Ay, yo ya dime la verdad que Nicolás se va a casar. El martes de carnaval. El martes de carnaval. El martes de carnaval. El martes de carnaval. El martes. El martes. El martes. Ay, yo ya. Yo tengo un lío por aquí, yo tengo un lío por allá.
Yo tengo un lío por aquí, yo tengo un lío por allá.
Yo tengo un lío por aquí, yo tengo un lío por allá.
Yo tengo un lío por aquí, yo tengo un lío por allá.
Yo tengo un lío, mi mamá, yo tengo un lío por allá.
Yo tengo un lío por aquí, yo tengo un lío por allá.
Yo tengo un lío, mi mamá, yo tengo un lío por allá.
Yo tengo un lío por aquí, yo tengo un lío por allá.
Yo tengo un lío de verdad que no lo puedo desatar.
Yo tengo un lío por aquí, yo tengo un lío por allá.
Hay ese lío por aquí, hay ese lío por allá.
Yo tengo un lío por aquí, yo tengo un lío por allá.
Yo tengo un lío, mi mamá, yo tengo un lío, mi papá.
Yo tengo un lío por aquí, yo tengo un lío por allá.
Hay ese lío por aquí, yo no lo puedo desatar.
Yo tengo un lío por aquí, yo tengo un lío por allá.
Hay ese lío por aquí, yo no lo puedo desatar.
Yo tengo un lío por aquí, yo tengo un lío por allá.
Yo tengo un lío de verdad, yo tengo un lío caridad.
Yo tengo un
¡Que
lío
se
por
sientan, ve!
aquí, yo tengo un lío por allá.
Yo tengo un lío, mi mamá, yo tengo un lío de verdad. ¡Ay! ¡Yo!
How do you turn on this camera? That's a mosquito. Around March or April, it was coming very apparent that things were different. A lot of things were being canceled. When you're talking about the NBA, that's millions of dollars, baseball, churches closing down, what was the odd that we were actually going to have a parade in the street? Even though our parade was all the way in October, it takes a couple of months to really organize a parade. So the dilemma was do we continue and have faith that maybe the streets will open back up, or do we plan a virtual parade right now? We had no idea how much this would cost. How much does a production cost? So we just had to ask a lot of people. But sometimes we didn't even know what to ask. How do you ask? Hey, listen, I need you to film a virtual parade for me. How much is it? Oh, okay, so how long is it? We didn't know how long it was. So all of this, it started to form, the virtual parade started to come together, which was not easy. It's not easy when somebody sends you a video that's not good and you have to tell them, listen, your great production is not good. How do you do that? When they did everything they could because of COVID-19, they couldn't go there and do anything. So everybody was really between a rock and a hard place. How is it planning a virtual parade versus a physical parade? Well, it's very different. When you are planning a parade, everybody knows that a parade is in the street. Virtual parade now, you have to sort of plan it for the TV. The thing is that we have seen parades on TV, but that's they're filming it from the street. Now, when you have a virtual parade, you have to actually plan it for camera. And in that planning, you have to look for footage that happened way before. Talk to participants, probably have a script before you even begin. Because how do you all of a sudden tell bands and school bands and everybody else that you have to record something and send it to us to be able to participate in a virtual parade? So that's where everything began. So once we decided we were going to have a virtual parade, just like the parade, we had to form teams to make it happen. There's so many variables, so many different things that can go wrong that we had to make sure we had someone on it to think about it before it happened. For example, we had to let people know that we were doing a virtual parade. So the first thing we did was have a set of meetings in the month of June with all the different type of organizations, the bands, the media, the media from Panama and here. We had to have meetings with the vendors, the food vendors that are usually in the parade, to let them know what we were doing. Everybody needed to know what they were doing so they could have a choice if they wanted to participate or not. And then again, to bring the team together now, somebody had to take care of sending out the letters. They had to be in writing, of course. You had to send out the letters of invitation to the different people. You had to have somebody to make up the list, the suggestion. You had to deal with the people who were already selected to be grand marshals, to let them know, hey, listen, you're not going into the street. This is just going to be something where we will probably just show your picture on the screen or something like this. So you need a team to select the grand marshals. We needed a team for the hospitality, in case we get guests, how we're going to treat the hospitality. If somebody's coming from out of state, where will they stay? Another one was the one that took care of the announcers, to make sure that they had the cue cards and everything set up, plus the camera crew and everybody else that came with it. And not to mention the crew, the team that dealt with the food. We had some food and everything. So it was a whole new project for one day. Enrique and Elias, the catering that brought the food in, I mean, they really had it decked out. My thing, I remember speaking to Victor about it because he was in charge of that part, and I told him, I didn't want somebody to come in here just to cook food. I needed them to look good, to represent the culture, and they really decked out the tables and the placemat and the cake with the flag and the food, and I said the food before, right? And the cake and everything, and even the tamarindo drink. I mean, I love tamarindo. Tambran, they call it. I mean, it was really good. They had sauce. They had a little beef patties. I'm still talking about the food, right? I know in order to do something, in order to be a successful leader, you can't do it alone. You have to do it in teams. So the thing was to bring teams that will sort of push this parade forward. How do we choose the guests to come to the event? I really wanted, and I say I, because I was pushing for it, but I know it was the sentiment also of some of the members that they wanted something that we don't not just have one type of guest or one type of music or one type of band. We needed something that represented every Panamanian culture, ethnicity, every type of music, every type of band, artist. We had everything inside there. We had something for everyone. You know, you might not like one thing, but probably you like the next thing. So the guest, we wanted an elected official. And after we had videos from elected official came in, which was good. One of the highlights of the evening were at least 2 to 3 guests. I think it was the borough president. He was one, obviously, Mr. Eric Adams. It was great to see him. You know, he came through one more time. Also, we had the Consul General of Panama, Elias Levy. We also had DJ Cucci and DJ Big Nito. Also, we had Peter Pana. The jingle from the beginning, we needed our own song. And when I asked Peter Pana if he could do it, I didn't hear from him. All of a sudden, I hear a song. Quiero ver. Coming to the Panamanian parade. That's when I asked my brother to do. We want to come to the Panamanian parade. I needed a variety of things inside there, not just the Spanish part of it, but the English Panamanian accent that a lot of people sometimes want to shy away from. The Jamaican have theirs, Trinidadian has theirs, but the Panamanian, we have our accent too. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to keep that inside of the jingle. So they came that day. He came with dancers and everything, and that was great. We had obviously Mayelka. She was, yes, one of the hosts, but still our guest from Afro Latino from New York City. And yes, Mr. Edwin Pitti, correspondent of the White House. He worked for Univision. So we had great people, great Panamanians. Everybody wanted to push us forward. No, Eric Adams. Mr. Eric Adams is not Panamanian, but apart from that day he was, you know, the day we filmed it, you know. But it was great. It was great to see them there. Everybody bought into it. Everybody had something to say to the Panamanian people, and everybody did what they had to do, and it was live. So it wasn't something that they could actually rehearse. They had to just go in front of the camera, and whatever they said went. We didn't have anything to stop them. Whatever they said is what happened, you know. So it was great to have them. So the day of the show came about. Everything was timing. Everything, believe it or not, we have to make timing our ally, our friend. We have to make sure we got inside there on time, because the biggest thing about this show was actually the videos. Editing the videos, making sure that was put together and done. That was a big part of it. I didn't want the video to be actually edited by the production crew, because a lot of times they don't know the sentiment that you need for it to happen. So when we brought the videos already edited, we just had to put the live part of the show, which was Mr. Edwin Pitti and Mayelka, that will do the live part of it. So a script was written so everybody could follow the script. We had a timetable which we gave to the production company, the person doing the sound and the person doing all the other technical stuff. They had a timetable. Plus on PT and Mayelka, obviously they did a lot of things on the fly, but they also had a script, you know, which was the teleprompter that we used for a lot of the things. And then Obviously, I was one of them that was kind of directing it from behind the scenes, and then making sure everybody was where they were supposed to be. One of the biggest thing was the social media, hooking it up to the social media to make sure people saw it, because obviously it wasn't a non-syndicated TV, it was social media. It was YouTube and Facebook, and we wanted to make sure that they were getting it. So coordinating the show was to make sure that if we said we were beginning at 6 o'clock, we had to begin at 6 o'clock. And we had to take into consideration that it was 5 in Panama. We had a 30 minutes countdown, and I'm so happy we had a 30 minutes countdown, because so many things went sideways, and that was time enough to really do that. Next show means, or it could mean, that we are not having a parade, but I want to take next show to mean that instead of the studio, we're going to the streets. We are actually bringing the parade virtually now. So when we go into this Franklin Avenue next year, 2021, we are going to make sure we are virtual, make sure we are televising, so everybody that's in the United States, either come from Texas, if you got people from Atlanta, Georgia, Minnesota, if you're out of the country, Canada, Mexico, Central America, especially Panama, even Europe, they will be able to see the parade, not just the parade, but the great festival that we have, the great cultural event that we have here in New York City. So yes, we are planning to keep this going. Okay, so we will see you next year.